If it's part of a team, if it's somebody over here on the periphery, just don't give them the time of day. But if it's part of a team that you're working on collaboratively with, then make sure you're documenting that. Make sure you're always grounded and rooted in facts. That will take the wind out of their sails every time, and other people will begin to notice that pretty quick. All right, the next one. I used to say, if you've got gossip, I'm pulling up a chair. Kind of true, but I always had one policy. I would be the receiver, the recipient of the gossip. I would not and then share it with others. I had one individual, he would come in my office all the time, and his whole self-worth was based on who he was connected with in the company and that he had access to extra information. And it was actually became exhausting because, oh, did you hear I was with the CEO this weekend? This is what I heard about this senior leader. And it just became on and on. And then they would try subtly to weave in, oh, how's your boss doing? I've heard this about them, and they're trying to get me to play into that. I'm like, nope. I would just kind of brush it off, say, no, my boss is great. We have a really good relationship. Or even if that wasn't the case, I wasn't going to play into it because I don't want the talk track out there to be, well, I heard it from Rob. No, not giving you any ammunition for that. Now, again, if you've got information, especially the more salacious kind, like a sidebar, when somebody told me that one of our senior leaders, and I won't mention the company, that they were actually having an affair with their administrative assistant. I kind of want to know all about that. And it turned out to be true, and they got fired. But that's a longer story for another day over a beer. As tempting as it is to get these details from people, if you do listen to the gossip, again, you could be guilty by association if you are seen with the person who gossips all the time. Think about time, place, all that type of stuff, and make sure that you're not giving them anything, but also be aware of who's watching, because people will say, oh, Rob hangs out with Bill, therefore Rob is also a gossip because Bill has that reputation as well.